Okay, this video is going to go through these tasks over here. So let's start with the first one. Work out the percentage, format the information appropriately. So you've got data here, which includes student name, gender, the mark, and then you've got empty columns over here with the labels percentage, pass, question mark, and grade. And then you've got something over here which we'll use later. So the percentage column is this column, so we need to work out the percentage. Here are the marks the students got, let's say in their test, and the marks available were 80. So the percentage is going to be the mark they achieved divided by 80 marks. So we can go ahead and do it this way, divided by, so the mark that they got divided by, and then you can just type 80. I'm not going to click on that cell, which is C1, because it contains letters, so therefore it's not a number, so therefore you can't divide by a letter mixed with numbers. You can't do that. So I'm just going to do C3 divided by 80, and that will give me this percentage. So this is 6%. Now normally in maths, what you would do when you're trying to work out percentages is that you would multiply by 100. And that's how you turn it into a percentage. But in this case, we're not going to do that because you need to have the percentage formatting applied, because it says here format the information appropriately. If I do the times 100 before I apply the percentage formatting, then this happens. Right click. So this is how you apply the percentage formatting. Format cells. There are other ways you can do it, but I just like doing it this way. Percentage, and then you change it to 0 decimal places and click OK. So it's 625%. When you apply the percentage formatting, it automatically multiplies it by 100 for you. So from your formula, just delete the times 100 that you would normally do for like a maths question, and just leave it as the mark divided by the total number of marks. Press enter, and then it gives you the proper percentage. And then you can go ahead and just drag that formula down using the fill handle, and then you've got all the percentages there. Okay, there is another way you could do it, and that's by just changing this, if you wanted to the number 80, and then you can go ahead and do that formula, which is equals the marks available divided by the number of marks available by you clicking on them or clicking on the cell. And it just shows up here C1. So you could do that, and then you could fill handle that. Let me do this because I know some of you know what's going to happen, and it messes it up. It obviously does this. It's doing that because C1 here, as you can see here, changed to C2 when you dragged it down, changed to C3 when you dragged it down further, changed to C4. So it's a relative cell reference. So when you do the fill handle, the reference gets changed as you drag down. So what you do is you turn this C1 into an absolute cell reference. So you hold down F4, or you do function F4, or if for whatever reason it's not working on your device, you just do the $sign, and I'm just going to leave it as that. And then you go ahead and you fill handle, and that should work, okay? But it was enough to just do equals that divided by, and then you type 80. That was enough. You could have done that in this example. Okay, lovely. So that's done. So let me just highlight that yellow because that's done. Next task, it says 50% and above is a pass. Write an if statement in column D. It should be E. Let me just change that for later. Write an if statement in column E to say yes if they have passed, not is they have passed, apologies, or no if they have not passed. Okay, lovely. So in here we will have a bunch of yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, depending on the percentage here. So if the percentage is 50% and above, then it's a pass, right? So what you can do is just click on the first cell, and then we go ahead and we can go to formulas, and then we insert the logical formula if. If you can't see whatever formula you're looking for in any of these shortcut categories, then you can just go to more functions, and then you can find a couple more here, or you can go to insert function here. And from there, you can find whatever you want, like all, and then you can just type I if you're looking for if, but it should show up here, so it's fine. Okay, anyways, let me just go ahead with that. If, and then for the if statement, you need 3 arguments, so 3 things that you need to put in, and they're separated with commas. So the first one is a logical test. What are you testing? I am testing the percentage. I am testing whether it is equal to or above 50%. So the logical test is this percentage, because I'm in the first row here for Matt, the student. So Matt's percentage, so D3, so logical test is D3 more than or equal to 50%. Okay, so is D3 more than or equal to 50%? If you, for whatever reason, don't want to write 50% and you just want to compare it to a number, then we can convert 50% into a decimal, which is 0.5, and that would also work. Okay, so is D3 more than or equal to, or if D3 is, beg your pardon, if D3 is more than or equal to 50%, then return the following value. And the following value is yes, or if it's not equal to or more than 50%, then return the value no. That's it. When you type anything in these boxes, if it's a bunch of letters, then it will have speech marks around it. So it treats it as a string, which is just like text, not a number. Numbers don't need speech marks, okay? So that's why up here you can see this happening. Okay, so click OK, and then it says no. Okay, let me repeat that one more time. Let me do it by just typing it here. So equals if, and then you open bracket, if this value is more than or equals to 50% or 0.5 is the same thing. I'm just going to say 50%. You have to do the more than sign before the equals. You can't do equals more than. So if D4 is more than or equals to 50%, then, so you have to do comma, then return this value, yes. And when you're typing it here, you've got to do the speech marks. Type or return yes. Otherwise, so you do another comma, otherwise value of false is no. So value of false means what if that test is not true? What if D4 is not more than or equals to 50%? Okay, lovely. Close bracket. Done. So it's saying no again. And then you can just go ahead and drag the formula down using the fill handle, and it returns the appropriate yeses and nos. This is all correct. There you go. Right, so this one is done. Go back here. Next one, apply conditional formatting so that yes cells are green and no cells are red. Okay, so you select all of these together. You go to conditional formatting. You can do this a couple of ways. You can do it by new rule, or you can do it by highlight cells rules. Let's just do it this way, highlight cells rules. Text that contains, if it's yes, then we change it to green because it's a bit more of a positive color. And then again, you have to go around this cycle again. Highlight cells rules, text that contains, no, oops. And then fill it red, that's fine. Okay, so that works fine. So if I was to change any of the marks to something else, or like 80 or something, then that changes to yes because of the if statement, and it changes green because of the conditional formatting. There are other ways that you can do the conditional formatting. I'll show you very quickly. Let me just clear the rules that I've just applied. Let me do it again. You can go to conditional formatting, new rule. You can do it this way. And then you can select format only cells that contain. I think on the Macs it will be classic style. A cell value. You can say specific text or cell value between, or you can say equal to, a cell value equal to yes. And then when you go to format, the difference here is that you go straight to, specific. So you can do whatever you want to do here. You can specify the background color, and then specify, you want it to be bold if it's yes. If you want to change, other things, you can change the color of the text. I'm going to leave it black, and you click OK. So it gives you a preview here. I'm going to click OK. So there you go. So that's just a bit different. And then you can do the same thing again. New rule, format only cells that contain a cell value equal to no, and then I've done it the other way around, haven't I? Sorry, that was meant to be green. But anyways, actually, let me carry on going so I can show you how you can change rules without having to do them all over again. So no is supposed to be red. Let me just do that. Okay. And I'm going to change my yes rules. Okay. So conditional formatting. So if you've done a rule and you've just done a part of it slightly wrong, then you can actually just go to manage rules and just change the rules slightly. So it's this one. So you click on the yes one and edit rule, and then you can just go ahead and edit that. Okay, so it was supposed to be green, wasn't it? Let me do a lighter green. There we go. Okay, that's better. Okay, so that was 2 ways of how to do the conditional formatting. What time am I on? 9:23. Okay. Let me just make this the last one, and then I'll just record another video just so they're a bit shorter. So I'm going to do 4 and onwards in another video.